Hi there, I'm Connor, I'm Off the Cuff, and today I am talking to you about The Jungle Book. The Jungle Book is the latest from director Jon Favreau, and it stars Neel Sethi in his first movie, as well as the voice cast of Christopher Walken, Idris Elba, Ben Kingsley, Bill Murray, Lupita Nyong'o, Giancarlo Esposito, Scarlett Johansson. I think I got everyone in there. And it is a retelling of The Jungle Book. I don't know which iteration of The Jungle Book this is. It might be the 6th, might be the 7th, and we're getting one next year, which is being directed by none other than Andy Serkis. And it is about Mowgli, who is a human child who is raised by a pack of wolves, and then Shere Khan, the tiger, is going to kill him, and Bagheera, the panther, takes Mowgli away from his home with the wolves to try to get him to the man village to hopefully spare his life. So, what did I think of The Jungle Book? This was a very interesting viewing experience for me. This was something that took me a while to get into, honestly. But once I was hooked, I was into it. This movie got better as it went along. And I can't think of the last movie that really did that for me. And it was a very pleasantly surprising experience. I'm going to talk about what I don't like at first because that's the way it was watching the movie. And there isn't a whole lot that I didn't really care for. First and foremost, Neel Sethi. He is getting a lot of praise for his performance. This is his first movie, and I'm glad he's getting that. Unfortunately, he didn't really do the job for me. I don't think he really worked as Mowgli. I can tell this is his first movie. I know how kids talk. I get it. I have 3 younger siblings. I know how kids talk. But that doesn't excuse that when we are in an elevated story like The Jungle Book, I kind of want my acting to be better. And I'm sorry, this is a very big budget movie. It's got a lot of money. It's kind of a blockbuster at this point. But I don't think he really did a good job. He kind of talked through his cheeks. Bagheera, how are you doing? It's so good. I was so worried about you. You know, it sounds like he's talking out of his cheeks. But physically, I thought his performance was fine. You know, I felt like he was interacting with actual things. I just thought the way he spoke his lines wasn't very effective. But I did think Mowgli, as a character on paper, as an idea, he has a character arc. He's very interesting. I liked this Mowgli. I just wish it was a better performance. And the other thing I didn't much care for, this entire movie is made completely in the computer, except for Mowgli. Everything that isn't Mowgli is created digitally, and this movie looks fantastic. But there are a couple of shots, specifically wide shots where we see Mowgli walking with Bagheera in the distance, where the lighting was just a bit off. You could tell that he wasn't actually on that location. Just a couple of shots. Most of those shots look great. When he interacts with the environment, it looks incredible. There are even like some of those shots where he's silhouetted against his environment, and that looks great. There are just a couple shots that don't quite mesh. And I think that is par for the course when you're taking on such an ambitious project like this, because this is going to transition to what I like. This movie looks incredible. The environments, the weather, the rocks, the grass, the animals. These wolves look like real wolves. Bagheera looks incredible. Shere Khan is scary. And that's going to go right into another thing I liked. The voice cast in this movie is excellent. Idris Elba as Shere Khan. This is a great character. Not only a great character who has interesting motivations and an interesting ideology, but Idris Elba was perfect. He was scary. He was frightening. If I was like 10, this guy would have scared me. And then we also have Scarlett Johansson's really good as Ka. She's only in one scene, but she does good. Ben Kingsley as Bagheera might be my personal favorite. He's a little understated, but he's very effective, and he really works and is the subtle, nuanced performance that I think you really need for a movie like this. But we also have Bill Murray doing a little bit of scenery chewing that isn't actually there. You're not actually chewing. You can't chew digital scenery. But he's great, and for me, he was a bit of the shot in the arm that this movie needed to really kind of change gears into Act 2 and then into Act 3. And then we have Christopher Walken as King Louis, and he's gigantic and he is glorious. Guys, let's just can we just be happy about something in life? We live in a world where Christopher Walken is a singing and dancing giant orangutan. That actually exists, people, and it is glorious. We should embrace that, because I've heard people, there are a couple of songs here and there, portions of songs more like, in this movie that I've heard some people complaining that the movie, yeah, they couldn't tell if it wanted to be a musical or not. But I would be more upset if we didn't get I Want to Be Like You sung by Christopher Walken, because could you imagine if we had that opportunity and we blew it? It's great. I love it. After King Louis, I thought, okay, the movie's peaked with King Louis now. But no, when we get into that third act, it is thematically satisfying. It is, and I haven't talked about Jon Favreau's direction, because Jon Favreau has really improved as a director over his years. I've never thought he was a bad director. Elf is one of my favorite Christmas movies, but that's not a director's staple. In the Iron Man movies, I thought, honestly, his direction was the best thing about his 2 Iron Man movies. That isn't Robert Downey Jr. And now when we get this, I'm seeing his ambition, and he's a really effective storyteller in the way he incorporates theme. And I really like the ideas present in this movie, and the way he informs those ideas in his story is very interesting. There are some very clever storytelling choices, and that third act was emotionally and thematically satisfying, and I wanted to punch the air like, yeah, it got really good. There's one line in particular that just like, yeah! Really liked it. Great music, great special effects, great direction, great voice cast. A little slow to get going, in my opinion. There was just a couple things, especially with Mowgli, that just wasn't doing it for me. But in the end, the Jungle Book does so much more good than it does any bad. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I really liked this movie. Anyways, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I'm Connor. See you later.